All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the first of two Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer semifinal matches for part of SG Live 2020. The winner of this match, a best of three, will move on to the finals and have a shot at all that wonderful money. And the loser, well, we'll still have a shot at some money, but the grand prize awaits. We have the 4 seed MaCobra52 versus the 8 seed HUmanMustard, two longtime vets of the randomizer going head to head, what should be a most entertaining match. I'm Pro A007, and joining me tonight is Growlwolf. Welcome.
Thank you, Pro A. I am so excited about this run because you look at a 4th seed, 8th seed, anybody that's a fan of March Madness, they're going to look at it and say, oh, whatever. But anybody that's familiar with the veterans of a sport, anybody that's familiar with a dynamo coming into anything, you get hot and everything changes, they're going to be very familiar with the fact that this is anybody's game. And the only thing that I think we can be remotely certain about is the fact that this is most likely going to go to 3 games. This is going to be an incredible matchup.
If it does go to 3, it would be an outlier so far in this tournament. It's been sweep. The only one that went 3 was MaCobra versus me. We went 3 games. Everything else has been 2-zip.
Which is actually very surprising when you look at a lot of the talent, the raw talent that we have. And what better way to bring this in than with MaCobra and HUmanMustard? You look at the path that they've taken so far to get to the semifinals, and it has been nothing short of stellar for both of these guys. MaCobra having not an easy route to get there. He had to go through Stewie Cartman in the first, who is an exceptional SMB runner, and then he had to go through you in the next round, which also a veteran of the sport. You are no joke. An outstanding opponent in this. I mean, you went to the finals last year, and now you've got HUmanMustard, who took down Midi Guy, who took down the Haxer, who's another great SMB runner. This is no joke, some of the best talent we have, and is going to be nothing short of an amazing run.
Well, and you talk about no joke. They drew 8-1 as their lead off, and that's not an easy stage with some really ugly enemy patterns, and it looked like MaCobra might get through, but he got caught with a bad enemy pattern. Mustard taking his second death already. So this is going to be a good test for them. They got to avoid getting tilted here.
Absolutely. You look at the game of the randomizer and a speed run, you know what to expect, you know what's coming. Obviously 8-1 just does not come first level in the game. It's called 8-1 for a reason. And this really is going to be a test of a mental game at this point. You've got a fiery Venus flytrap. You've got a bunch of blocks that are just trying to take you down. That's their only goal here. And these bullet bills are being relentless as well. And unfortunately, we see that take its effect on HUmanMustard. And just like that, we go from 8-1 to 6-6. This is going to be a grueling seed if this keeps up.
Yeah, I think you're fired from ever drawing a seed again. Sorry.
Oh, we're just getting started.
I thought I was a sadist. Little do they know. So yeah, Mustard's down to his last life, and if he survives, okay, that might have been quasi-intentional, but Mustard behind the 8 ball already here, 2 minutes in. The good news is he's still only 2 stages behind at worst. So, no.
Absolutely. You look at this stage in particular, and MaCobra played a little bit safer, and HUmanMustard is definitely playing like he's got to get something done. And in some ways he does, but we're on World 1. We got a long way to go.
You can't win in the opening stages, but you sure can lose it. And Mustard finally through. MaCobra finally getting a reprieve with 3F2 under the underwater for H2O fort.
I get a little bit of a reprieve. This is one of the easiest forts in the game to get through. It's been said before that if you have a fire flower, you can speed run this without even trying. And an unfortunate death by Cheep Cheep there for HUmanMustard. this is going to be weighing on him quite immensely. Let's hope he can shake it off, because again, this is just World 1. We have a long way to go. World 7 hasn't taken its place yet. World 8 hasn't taken it. Well, it'll be, of course, at the end. Both huge equalizers with all the pipes and all the routes that can be taken. So definitely a long way to go. We're not done yet.
And Mustard actually going the rare top route there to pick up a the item there, and then get himself a raccoon tail. We got some copulating by the Hammer Bros down below, forcing MaCobra to wait a few extra seconds before continuing on in Pyramid. A pretty easy stage. Oh, unfortunately got the star, so he's gonna have to wait a few seconds.
I really like HUmanMustard's strategy here. He's got to know that he's behind, or at least thinks he is at this point. And he decided to go for a double tail route there. He was playing as many items as he could possibly get in 6-6. And I think that's a great choice. You have to damage boost, do it. If you have to do whatever you have to do to get through there, sometimes the enemy set just isn't going to be nice. And you've got to play around that. You got to make it happen.
Mustard accidentally getting 2 extra lives, so that's a few extra seconds for him. He's a little bemused by it all. We have a 1-Fort World 5, and we have sort of 7-3 beta here with one of the 9 lost levels. A pretty easy stage, a good stage to get some P-speed strats in, because it's very enemy light.
Absolutely. The only thing you really need to be a little concerned about is the first enemy you come to. Obviously, you don't want to jump underneath something that's going to come down on you. And then the laggitude that likes to get at you at the end. But other than that, pretty light. We'll see if HUmanMustard decides to take on a couple Hammer Bros here. Definitely caught up in a bit of a marathon, though.
Mustard's getting jobbed here by the Hammer Bros. They're going for a while here, and he's just like, please make it stop. And this is bad.
Yeah, this is really bad.
But that's like, I kid you not, I think that really was 20 seconds. We say that all the time, but I think that was 20 seconds.
Somebody clip that and let us know, because that was amazing, and you're going to want to hold on to that for a long time. So that was a hugely unfortunate issue, and HUmanMustard is no stranger to that. He has had that happen more times, I think, than anyone cares to admit ever, and he's had it even more than that. And what an unfortunate place to be. You started off with 2 absolutely terrifying levels, and now you're stuck for 20 seconds behind a couple of Boomerang brothers. GGOP.
This is this is becoming the Murphy's Law seed, I think, really for both runners, because they've got to be feeling like, God, what did we do to deserve this? And
they let the wolf roll the seed.
Yeah, they're gonna insist I roll game too. MaCobra actually used a cloud there on 1-6 beta to get to the pipe. Not a bad draw, actually. The route is negligible, how he does it, so it's pretty straightforward.
Absolutely. He's going to use that mushroom. Oh, he did get it. Okay.
Okay, got it. So he wants a little bit of security there. So he goes through Waterfall. That's our 3rd beta stage in a row.
An answer to a question in chat from our very own MIDI Guy DP. The first level of World 5 was 8-1, followed by 6-6. So apparently I'm not allowed to roll anymore, but let them try to stop me.
Our 4th beta stage in a row, we have 5-7 beta, Sky Beta.
Come on, guys. All I can say is I was getting excited for semifinals, and apparently the seed got a little out of whack. But I mean, come on, you're enjoying this, right?
We're enjoying this. They're going to have some words for you afterwards, but we have 2-1 with an Angry Sun now. A pretty easy stage. If you get a good enemy pattern, you can really get your P-Speed strats going like in vanilla.
I just want to give a quick message to Rick that first, you're amazing and I love you. And if that's not quite enough, please tell me you're really not enjoying this. I mean, come on, let's be honest here.
Playing, so he doesn't care.
Fair enough. So World 2, not exactly a very difficult World 2. I don't believe there was a single fortress required there because of the way the lock was situated. And it was going to be the exact same either way. Either you used a hammer on the rock, which even then you had to play at least 2 to get there. So really no reason to play a fortress here in level 2. And just like that, while MaCobra's finishing up, HUmanMustard realizes, wait a second, I don't have to play a fortress here.
I think that's what was on his mind there. It's like, just play the levels are shorter than forts in almost every case, so you're better off just doing it like that. And a 4-hit normal weight Morton, he's out at 907. Mustard is about 2 minutes back, but he's got a chance to close the gap here a bit. He was 2 minutes back going into this world, but that death in 1-6 beta gives him a chance to close the gap a little here.
Absolutely. And MaCobra did have to use a cloud there, or chose to use a cloud there, I should say. And that actually is a huge help to HUmanMustard because
Mustard did the same, actually.
I see. Okay.
But he didn't play 1-6 beta. He just did it.
I think I kind of like that, actually. I know that it's almost a sign of desperation coming from HUmanMustard, and you know it can definitely feel like that. But what is your mental status versus the desperation play there? And I think for HUmanMustard, he's got to know that he's behind, and he's got to be feeling the pressure of, hey, I have to do something. And if that's a cloud to get immediately into a pipe, so be it. You know, if that's what brings you back, that's what brings you back. At this point, you got to make it happen.
And that's actually a fairly common strategy. I employ the strategy quite a bit myself. It's like if you've got a pipe in front of a pipe behind a stage, and there's really no reason not to do it because it's basically a free pass.
My biggest concern with doing that is as soon as I do that, the next one's going to be Atlantis. So, you know, it's not a bad strategy. It works for some people, and a lot of it would work.
The only philosophy I think we all can agree on is the only thing worse than that is not using your clouds at all. It's like, it doesn't really matter largely how you use a cloud, just so long as you use them.
Absolutely. And in some of the worlds, that's definitely a really, really good strategy as well. World 7, not a great option. You never know which pipe it is that's going to take you to the right place. And yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see the different methods employed. And, you know, I like that HUmanMustard went ahead and did it, if that's which way he was feeling. Whereas MaCobra actually went through like 3/4 of the level and unfortunately took a death there. So,
yeah.
Potato.
So MaCobra has found out that the North Central Island is required for passage. Everything else feeds into one another, so that's informative for him. He does not have a music box, but he will have to take an item. And Mustard is in Piranha Fort, or 7F2, as it is known by some.
Or for others, Inferno Disco Valley. Or something like that.
Yeah. And MaCobra was in 6F2 earlier. Looks like he made the correct call as far as forts are concerned. And he did. MaCobra has an extra cloud, and he is gonna use it right now.
Yeah, that 5-9 play was definitely one you want to cloud. And gonna go ahead and equip the P-Wing just to be on the safe side on this Piranha Fort.
It's 5-9 takes about 45 seconds. Nice dodge there, but he took some damage anyways. Mustard found 7-8 on top of that. Ugh.
I mean, I know we were feeling like we didn't get all of the really rough levels previously, so I think we're making up for it just a little bit.
Huh. So MaCobra's kind of playing a little more aggressively than usual. He's taking more damage boosts than usual, and he's really just kind of pressing the attack here. And going to your point about, you know, really trying to go after the seed.
I think HUmanMustard here realizes that he absolutely has to play this, and coming into 6F2 with a tail, what a place to be. That is exactly what you want. He's going to be able to fly underneath the route, able to get a lot of distance between him and the beginning, and he's going to be through here in just a matter of seconds at this point.
Unfortunately for him, he is a little behind at this point, only because he had to play 2 extra levels and MaCobra didn't. So that's gonna put him behind a little bit farther. We have a Vanilla World 4 now with 3 pipes and a lock and a bridge visible on our screen, and well, that's easy.
I am just a little curious. It doesn't appear that it's going to be the case, but I would be very curious to see if there's a third fort here somehow. I don't know that there can be. I don't know that there will be. But golly, it would sure be fun.
There can be. I thought I saw a tile 6 already. If there's a tile 6, then it's 2 forts. Mustard's not even going to bother checking.
And what a great choice that was. That was the one that we just saw on MaCobra's screen as 5-9. So excellent choice of clouds. Not even checking. That's going to save him a little bit of time. Hopefully he can use that to his advantage.
And it confirmed it is a 2 fort World 4 because I saw tile 6 in 4F2's location. So it's pretty straightforward. MaCobra in 6F3, aka Carpet Fort. Mustard is in World 7 Airship, Vanilla Airship. Cobra having to deal with a regular Hotfoot and a Boo.
He did have just a little bit of a problem in that with a match against you previously. Thankfully this time the Hotfoots weren't drunk and chasing him down, so he was able to get through there without much damage at all. HUmanMustard finding the one-shot Ludwig von Koopa, and will be chasing down MaCobra as quickly as he can.
In the World 6 Airship, Mustard is 2.5 minutes behind. He's not in a lot of trouble, but he is really behind. That's over half a world, really.
Oh, easily, and depending on which level it is, which world it is. I mean, we still have 1, we still have 3, we still have some to go that could be very quick. Even World 6 could be extremely quick, depending on the pipe pattern. So there's definitely a lot of ground to make up, but there's also a lot of ground that's gone.
MaCobra got jobbed a bit there by jump physics by Iggy, but he gets it at 16:33. So in spite of all that, a relatively quick first half of the seed. Yeah, so we still have 1, 3, and 6 to go. 1 usually is pretty quick, unless that fort is way in the corner. The music box, so okay.
You talked previously about what it's going to take for HUmanMustard to get back, and we were talking about how he is playing really aggressive right now, and I think that's a point worth mentioning here, is that, you know, sometimes the standard of play will change a little bit. Maybe it'll improve, maybe it'll decline when a runner knows that they're behind, and a lot of that just comes down to the mental acuity of knowing, okay, what do I have to do to get back into this? So I really appreciate HUmanMustard not even bothering with the door 3 clip. You know, if there's any doubt in your mind that you're not going to get it, skip it. Just don't even go for it. Sometimes players will look at that and think, oh, I have to do this to get, you know, those 3 seconds back. No, you have to play smart. Maybe take a gamble on a pipe. If you've got 2 pipes here, maybe try the one that's behind the rock. Just you have to do something that's going to make sense and allow you to come back minutes, not seconds.
Well, at this point, I think for Mustard, he's going to need a couple of 50-50s to go his way, and not really. It doesn't look like World 3 is going to help him. World 6 is going to help him that much with 2 pipes already in view. But perhaps World 8 is going to have to give him a couple. He's going to have to give him a lot of 50-50s here, and World 3 is going to have to give him a couple of 50-50s. Okay,
Absolutely.
So a useless draw there. It looks like it's a 3-Fort World 6, though. Yep. This is actually a potential 50-50 if MaCobra decides to play this out and skip the fort in 6F1's location, but Mustard goes for it. That could help him, especially if it's the correct answer.
Absolutely, and I think HUmanMustard may be a little more inclined to play it, because he does know where 7F2 is, and that's in World 7, where he just came from not long ago. So, whereas MaCobra does not actually know that, he may be a little bit more concerned about which fortresses he still has to play, just because of the timers.
Maybe. I don't think they're really concerned necessarily about what forts they have or haven't played at this point. And I don't think any of them are going to particularly scare them, especially MaCobra's got a pretty good stockpile of items. 6-8 now with a boss bass. 2-3 had some off-the-chain chomps there.
Beautiful H jump from MaCobra. That was very nicely done, and with that, he's gone.
Cobra putting those warpless and hundo skills to good use, because he does have a 52 in warpless.
Yeah, I was looking up some of their times earlier, and MaCobra is no joke. He does a fantastic job with his runs, and he is up there. He is a very good runner in that regard.
Here he's making a slight gamble. Okay, it's a free pass. He's on his way out of here. Because there is a dim chance of the double hammer play possibly being in effect. He skipped 2 hammer bros, but this, again, aggressive. He's going for it. He's going to gamble that World 3 doesn't really... The map draw is not going to hurt him.
It really does impress me. One of the things I've noticed about MaCobra just watching him is the level of play at which he brings. It's not enough that he's ahead. He's not playing safe. He's not playing things like that. And at this point, he may not know if he's ahead or not. With the couple of really ridiculous issue or levels that we had at the very beginning, he may not know that he's ahead at this point. So playing at such a high level of saying, hey, I have a path, I'm going to stick to it until I see something different, I don't care.
Right. Yeah. Like for someone like me, it's like I can't outplay him. The only thing I can do is really kind of outsmart him, and hope that will carry the day and try and minimize my errors versus his. That's really my only route to victory against someone like him.
Unfortunate miss from HUmanMustard, so he's going to have to go through the H. Now he's got to be a little careful because Big Boss does not like to stay away from long.
2130 wand grab for Cobra through 5, so we just have 1 and 3 left. And yes, and kind of remark on something in chat. The match between not human. What am I talking about? Between Teeks and Mitch Flower Power has not been determined as of yet. That is the other semifinal match.
And definitely going to be an exceptional run as well. Another one you're not going to want to miss. The winner goes on to play whoever's the winner on this match. And then, of course, the losers will face off in a bronze matchup to see who takes home third. So very good runners, very good talent. It's going to be interesting to see who makes it.
Yeah. So judging from the map, the double hammer play does not have an effect, and Mustard is going to have to play a fort here. He gets super tank, so MaCobra playing that fort up front pays off because there's a double lock barrier at the on the eastern island.
Absolutely. I think the decision and not seeing the first lock break really defined it for him, and then he was able to go down and around and not even worry about it. But the fact that there was locks on both sides of that square, amazing.
Yeah. So, well, judging from this, the double hammer play might have actually paid off because of where that pipe takes you. But you're still going to have to play the double forts anyways, almost certainly. So he will play a lava fort.
Mustard deciding to go ahead and take a tail. No doubt going to be used for a damage boost here at some point.
F2 is down for MaCobra. Mustard done with 3-3.
Mustard trying his best to get through the World 5 airship here real quick. And we will, of course, see Lemmy at the end of this. I believe he was 4 shots.
So, yeah, it is 4. And Mustard in a bit of trouble now. He's going to have to kind of wait this out, and there it is. Mustard a full 3 minutes back right now.
There's going to have to be a huge change of power here at some point in World 8. I mean, at this point, you really have to look at it like MaCobra's to lose it at this regard. I mean, other than that,
it would take a massive routing error at this point on MaCobra's part, or he gets really jammed up like they were in 8-1 early on.
Absolutely. And there are things to happen.
Cool. Yeah. So MaCobra out at 25-20, and Mustard opted to use a P-Wing there on 6-7. Actually not a bad stage to use it.
Absolutely. Having a chance to go under the level, especially there, isn't terrible. You can kind of avoid some of the enemies right off the bat that way.
World 1 to finish this off.
A little bit of a question in chat, mostly been answered, but just want to draw attention to it in case anybody is interested. We are randomizing just about everything we can possibly randomize in this wonderful classic Nintendo game that we all know and love as Super Mario Bros. 3. Basically what we've done is we've randomized just about anything you could. The worlds are randomized, the levels are randomized. We've even added some of the lost beta levels that were included in the game code but never actually included in the games. We've randomized the Koopa's hits, we've randomized items, we've randomized how things look, the pipes, the patterns, everything like that. We've randomized it. We've even randomized the music.
Chad is suggesting the commentary is randomized. They splice in comments from previous races. Damn close, we're getting there. At this point, you almost could do that.
As many crazy things as I have said on stream, I think it's definitely possible to do something with that. I have zero idea what it's going to be, but I'm sure we could get a soundboard together of something entertaining for sure.
So MaCobra kind of was not sure how to play that. Mustard, unfortunately, is going in the wrong direction. He found 5-3 beta.
Yeah, a little unfortunate. You kind of are looking at the crossroads here of, hey, what do I do next? And unfortunately, just another bad decision here. Not bad decision, but just another wrong decision. Sometimes the randomizer, you can do everything right, and the randomizer just says, nope, not okay.
Yeah, he's going for the pipes. He's gambling that this is the correct answer. Unfortunately, we both know it's not. He finds quicksand, so he's at least getting short stages. Takes death there. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not.
Based on the reaction we just saw from HUmanMustard, it definitely looked like that was not intentional. Unfortunately, he is having just a little bit of a mental issue here. I think my biggest hope here, if I'm the runner in this situation, is get through this match, play it as best you can, use it as practice, use it as a chance to make a gut check and say, okay, game 2, I am guaranteed. And it's back to the wall. You got to make it count.
Cobra doing a very astute play there, using a 7F1, using a raccoon tail before 7F1, aka Fort Knox.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the benefits. I mean, MaCobra hasn't played all the fortresses we were talking about earlier, and obviously Fort Knox is one of those you just don't want to be wrong about. I mean, if there's any way in the world that you could possibly get the right guess there in terms of knowing that you've already seen some fortresses and 7F1's not been one of them, take a chance. It's not going to hurt you having a tail or a P-wing on a fortress most of the time. So go for it. See what happens.
Cobra picked up a hammer. Unfortunately, that is utterly valueless here. Because under the tourney bracket flags, hammers do not break locks anymore.
That is correct. And one of the other things to mention as well is that we do not allow the runners to utilize that of the in-card memory game. So if you're playing the vanilla game, you'll notice that there's an in-card game that will pop up every 80,000 points that you score. But we've taken that away. We want our runners to get a little bit more creative with how they get items.
Chat's asking why we call 7F1 Fort Knox, because if you turn on the P switch in the opening room, you get a wall of coins. So, but Mustard way behind. He's actually behind like our 5-minute, almost past our 5-minute delay at this point. So he's so MaCobra gets 2 hands, 8 Navy, which is 8 fort, and a pipe. So actually, that's not a bad draw. Get a free fort right out of the way. You don't have to come back to this area ever again.
Yeah, that's an outstanding place to be. It's a classic case of you see a fort, you play a fort. Just get it done with, get it over. You don't have to worry about it again. If it's a bridge builder, great. If it breaks the lock that you need, great. If not, most of these forts aren't all that long.
8 fort is the exception to that rule. 8 fort is one of the longest stages in the game. It takes about 45 seconds.
And it's even longer if you don't get the 1 cycle, which I may or may not have done before. I'm not going to, confirm that or anything.
And MaCobra was successful in the 1 cycle. We got some pipe checks here from MaCobra, trying to gather intelligence. So far, he doesn't seem to be really going in any... he's getting more pipes. Mustard was trying to go for the item box, did not get it. Alright, so we have 1 fort. We have 1 bridge to build. Cobra.
What an outstanding play on MaCobra's part. I know sometimes runners will get into the mindset, and I am purely guilty of this, of get into a mindset of just find a fort, play a fort, find a fort, play a fort. And what happens there is you get to the point where you're now playing 4 or 5 forts every time you get to World 8. And unfortunately, that's not necessarily what you need. I mean, this very well could be the fortress that MaCobra needs, and then he could be done. He knows where Bowser's at. Let's get it done.
So, Cobra is going to get a quick check here, and nope. So it's back to the dark area. The good news is he knows where the other forts are, so that's not going to be a problem. Okay, there's the lock in the corner. So going to play that tanks, and that's unfortunately is the beta stage, 1-5 beta.
So we'll see a 100 coin fine here real quick. No big deal, no big loss. He knows where 2 of the hand levels are, so he can be pretty aggressive with how he approaches this. HUmanMustard also with a great choice and foresight to have a tail going into this fortress.
A 4F2 from MaCobra. Now, if nothing breaks here, he's got his answer. If something breaks, he also has his answer. So it's a win-win for MaCobra. It's just a question of how long is this going to take.
Absolutely, and this is obviously the one that he has to play, because otherwise the lock underneath would not break, which in this case it has, and that will open up the next fort.
Super Tanks in the corner for the win. First he's got to go through 4-4, and he's going to have to play 8-1 as well. So, oddly, this is actually one of the few times a Cloud actually would have paid off here.
Only on Bowser's Valley. Unfortunately, with this one, he will have to come back. But you're absolutely right. On the Bowser's Valley, as we like to call it, that absolutely would be a handy thing, because he does have the panel level 2 that he has to go through. So, but absolutely correct. That's a rare case where the Cloud in World 8 actually could have been a favor.
Actually had a seed recently where I had 2 Clouds and both of them paid off in World 8. That's never happened.
MaCobra with some very fine footing on the Air Force level. He'll take down Boom Boom for the last time in this seed. And folks, get ready to go. We are going to see the big Bowser fall. And just like that, HUmanMustard is also on his way into World 8, and he is interested to see what World 8 has in store for him. Little bit of an interesting skip here. I feel like this is a meta guess that HUmanMustard is making here, in that he knows out of game MaCobra hasn't finished yet. So that means one of 2 things. Either HUmanMustard got to World 8 first, or MaCobra is not out of World 8 yet. I find this a little interesting, only because he has knowledge outside of the game that MaCobra hasn't finished, meaning it must be a little harder to get to Bowser's Castle than just playing the first fort.
Yeah, so MaCobra is now at the is at Bowser. 6-1 was the final stage. A pretty straightforward. Gets the clip in the ceiling.
Awfully pleased with himself on that one. You could see a little bit of a sigh of relief on MaCobra's webcam. He definitely enjoyed that.
Second try, got it.
Another beautiful clip from MaCobra, and get your GGs out for MaCobra in chat for a very stellar run despite the tumultuous circumstances of the beginning.
Cobra will take game 1 of this best of 3 semifinal in a fairly one-sided win, scoring the W with an official race time of 36:25. Mustard is on his way to Animus is correct. We know that this is the correct play. And yeah, MaCobra is, and Mustard's gonna barely through. But yeah, he's still looking at probably a 40 at this point. High 39, low 40, depends on if he takes any damage.
CC Runner, we are not affiliated, like we have no ability to talk to the runners, and they are actually 5 minutes ahead at the time of their race, so we have zero opportunity to know what they're thinking or what they're doing throughout the run. We're merely guessing at what they're doing. Every runner has their own strategies They have different things that they have to go through and different ways that they'll play things. Pro A will do a cloud to get to a pipe. I sometimes don't do that. I'll keep my clouds and just use them like 2 or 3 in a row at the end of a level. So, you know, it's everybody has their own strategy. We obviously don't know what players are thinking as they go through it. We're just doing our best here.
We can inference for sure. I mean, these guys have both been around for a long time. And interestingly enough, this is actually the first time they have actually faced each other in a tournament match. I checked the records. This is their first head-to-head match in a tournament.
Chat, I need your support here. I am being told I can't roll the seed again, and I think that's baloney. I need you all to back me up here.
Come on, what if they get one of my patented seeds?
Ooh, that's even better. Then they just can't. I like this. Let's do that. HUmanMustard going for the last clip to get into Bowser's room. Unfortunately, just not going to go his way this time. So he'll go ahead and do the fireballs here, which are also randomized. And just doing his best to keep the Hammer Bro suit alive. He was able to get through those fireballs and immediately greeted by another cycle of them.
All that
and then shot by the lady.
Yeah. So that all but assures a 40 plus at this point. This is going to take a few minutes. This is going to take a minute. So 5 jumps and that will do it.
Absolutely. And the ability to kind of blow this strategy out of proportion is wonderful. HUmanMustard, you might be looking at him and thinking, hey, wait, when did he get God mode? But no, Bowser was not programmed with a lower half hitbox. So the jerk that Bowser is does not actually do any damage to Mario when he's underneath. So all good. HUmanMustard's going to be able to utilize that to his advantage, put him right where he wants him. And with that, we are going to say goodbye to Bowser, hello to Peach, and get ready for round 2.
Official race time of 40:08 for so
you know, when you look at it, even with a race like that, you know, 40 minutes, a difference of 3.5 minutes is not a whole lot. And even with a tumultuous start like that, 4 deaths and 8-1 at the very beginning, played through 6-6, no problems, clouded 5-9 blind, clouded beta 1-6 blind, great choices, even by playing them and then clouding them. That's even better that he did it blind. That's absolutely amazing. So, you know, only being 3.5 minutes behind at the very end of that, that's great. You know, you have to internalize that and believe, okay, it was that close and I had that kind of a start. Game 2, let's go. Also, a very good point from Soliminator in chat. The nearly 30-second Hammer Brothers was a big portion. I mean, 1/7 of the difference is huge. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. That is absolutely unfortunate. He didn't even have a chance to take one of them out to help prevent the marathon at that point. That's just bad luck.
That was kind of in its own way kind of encapsulated the kind of seed Mustard had. I mean, he had a good second half, but you know, that was not pleasant for sure.
Absolutely. So I think in round 2, what we're going to have to be looking for is, first of all, your popcorn. If you don't have your popcorn yet, go look for it. You got to get that, as well as drinks, you know, things like that. Get ready for round 2. You're not going to want to miss this. This is going to be HUmanMustard's chance to come back with a vengeance. You said before, MaCobra and HUmanMustard have not met before. and honestly, for no reason other than just circumstances. These are both very, very, very good runners of this game. There's a reason they're here in the semifinals.
Yeah, for sure. And I think this is actually Mustard's first time making the semifinals in any tournament. So I'd have to check my records, but I'm pretty sure that is the case. I think the farthest he's gotten is the quarterfinals.
That's one of the things that has really impressed me about HUmanMustard in my short time of watching is you watch a stream, and we got those links in the chat for you. Definitely give these guys a follow. Both of them put on a lot of really good SMB3 content as well as other games. Both very gifted runners, both do a very good job. And, HUmanMustard's been putting in a lot of time on his SMB3 100%, 80% warpless runs. And it's showing, it's showing already.
Yeah.
The fact that he can get disappointed by a rough start like that really shows the level of improvement that he's made thus far.
Yeah, and I think the thing for him is he has to get off to a good start here. He's just got to, as you say, push that aside, just get off to a good start and just kind of let that momentum carry him, because I know from past races he has had the tendency where, if it rains, it pours, and it can really add up for him, unfortunately. So hopefully he can get that good start that he needs and try to push this forward a bit.
Absolutely. And HUmanMustard off to a great start is outstanding, and that's exactly where he needs to be. That's exactly what he needs to be looking for, is that really good start and that really smart start. I mean, I know from personal experience, because I get the exact same way, that I'll take a death or two on a place where I think there's no way I should have done that. There's absolutely zero reason I should have made that happen. But, it's one of those things you just have to put it out of your mind. It happened. Get over it. Get on to the next level. Get on to the next world. Get on to the next seed. Whatever the case is, just get out of it and make it happen. And if you get a really rough start again, breathe and just get through it. Going a little bit slower and making sure you get through the first time is way more important than taking 4 deaths right off the bat and having a 4-minute loss hang over your head for the rest of the game.
So we're a couple minutes out from the start of the race. Chad, get your predictions in. What is going to be our first world in this seed? I will say 7. Let's go for reverse world order.
I think we got to shake it up here a little bit, and I think we need to go wet with the wonderful world of Windy in World 3. And I want to see a little bit of a tumultuous start.
Well, World 3 can really put you behind, set you back, especially if you get like 5 levels in a row before you even take a look at a pipe. So,
Absolutely, and with the fact that there's going to be 5 on the mainland, it's anybody's guess. You got to play a couple levels if you have a 50-50. Just hope you get it right. We'll see what happens. Also want to give a special shout out to CC Runner 149 UWP. Thank you so much for the bits. Really appreciate that. The work that SpeedGaming 3 does here, and SpeedGaming in general. If you're not a part of SpeedGaming, and then SpeedGaming 2 through 6, definitely follow them. A lot of great content. They do a great job. This is part of the SpeedGaming Live 2020 tournaments that they've been putting on. Just a lot of really good content. Definitely go give them a follow as well.
yeah, for sure. So we got a couple of guesses here. We got a 7, a 6, a couple of 7s, a 5. So the hammer should be dropping any second now. So MaCobra going into game 2 leads 1-0 over Mustard. After a rather rough start, the seed settled down just enough for them to carry on through. But MaCobra had a fairly convincing win over Mustard in game 1. Now Mustard's going to have to try and turn the tables here in game 2 to keep his bid for the championship alive, while MaCobra is looking to win the SG Live tournament for the second year in a row.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to be said here for both these runners. And that's one of the reasons we hype it up so much at the very beginning is, we expect this. We expect these guys to go into game threes just because we know how good these guys are. And we know neither one's going to back down here. MaCobra looking for a shot at the finals. HUmanMustard wanting to really put a stamp on what's going on here. And, I'm pulling for a game 3. I really hope to see it. Really want HUmanMustard to come out swinging and maybe make some gutsy calls, but mostly just make smart calls and then stick them. Make it happen.
Yeah, it's good. It's going to be interesting to see how he decides to play this, and I think it'll be somewhat informed by how this starts. How it starts, I think, will definitely affect how he decides to play this.
Absolutely. And especially if we can get a 50-50 right off the bat, we could get a little bit of a divergence. When we have World 7, we'll see what happens here.
Now we've got a 3-4 World 7. There's a chance for some divergence. We lead off with 2-1. Giant enemies, which means no Boss Bass or Angry Sun to troll things up a little bit.
And just like that, both runners off to the races. An easy enough 2-1. You got to be feeling just a little bit of relief here of, okay, one and done. Let's get going.
Yeah, especially after 8-1 let off the last lead. So now this is interesting. They're going to have to play more levels. They're going to have to play the Sky Beta.
All I can say right now is we must be in the kitchen because that is a lot of sync in here. We've got two very gifted runners doing the exact same thing, even down to the coins being exactly right, and a difference of 50 in the score. I mean, remarkable.
We've got two locks in position. We've got 7-8 with an Angry Sun. Nice. I thought MaCobra was a little short on his jump there. Actually, a good piranha pattern there for our runners.
Absolutely. And then a tail to kind of help him get through here. Should be enough to get these guys through the end of it. We'll see if they stop for an item here. Looks like that is the choice.
Fortunately, it was not an item. It was a 1-up. It would have been 3 if they'd stuck around.
And that is not a problem at all. MaCobra opting to go for the item that's found at the very end of the level. That was a Fire Flower, and that is going to be a big help, especially going into the fortresses here soon.
Unless they draw 7F1, then it's essentially moot. Well, we're not quite there yet. Mustard, using a 1-frame window, skips the piranha. So does MaCobra. So Mustard has found the pipe and to the fort behind the lock, and this is an interesting gamble. I totally agree with it, just because you need intelligence more than anything. Oh, MaCobra missed his jump and takes a dip in the sauce. An unfortunate mishap.
Meanwhile, HUmanMustard was able to utilize the star to its full advantage there, and was able to get through more than half the level based on that. A little bit of a damage boost there. Now he's on to his fight with Boom Boom, and MaCobra's going to have to try this one more time.
MaCobra dies again off a bad jump, so getting a little antsy there, I think. That did break the lock, so right back where they started, and
HUmanMustard utilizing that 1-frame skip again. I find that a little interesting, especially this early in the run, but this time he is going to be forced to taking the lock or the piranha fight. And at this point, he's looking at a roughly 4.5-minute World 7 at the very beginning, you got to be feeling pretty good at this point.
Here's what surprises me, that it's a 3-Fort World 7. None of them are required.
Absolutely. It's just a matter of making the right guess. And of course, with both runners skipping the piranha and going to the right, and then going back, and HUmanMustard was able to go through and not have to replay or play the piranha. And meanwhile, MaCobra is. So a little bit of divergence, but that's made all the difference at this point, just like Robert Frost said.
Well, it's a 2-hit thick Ludwig, and Mustard is on the board at 417. And unfortunately for MaCobra, that item was only a music box, so really that extra 20 seconds or so did not pay off.
No, unfortunately, it has not.
I'll take comfort in this. There is no crying in Mario.
Darn straight. With that, we are going into the next world. I'm retaining my guess of World 3. Any guesses?
You're on the money this time, and we got a forced draw here. A fort and a regular level with a lock behind it.
Yeah, a little bit of a rocky start here, so it looks like we are both getting our wishes. You got a World 7 that was rough, and it looks like World 3 is going to be the exact same right now.
So MaCobra almost a full minute behind at 5:16, so he's going to have to press a little bit here and move this along if he can. Mustard's in 3F2, H2O for it.
Yeah, and it looks like a pretty easy start for him. He's not trying to damage boost. He's not trying to do anything. Just wanting to keep an item as long as he can, I think, at this point, and make it stick, make it happen. From Teeks88 in chat, we have the water in World 3 is actually a mode of tiers for SMB3 players who couldn't cloud Atlantis. What about Atlantis itself? Is that also the tiers? Curious viewers wish to know.
Something. Probably. Okay, so that's good. It's good information for Mustard. The fort is one of these. The path is one of these 3 pipes up here. So we know that much.
World 5 is almost on the precipice of also being a great equalizer, strictly because of how many pipes and paths are accumulated within it. So with 6F2, no big deal, whatever. Maybe it's required, maybe it's not. It's route required, so that's all that really matters at this point. And now he's got 3 pipes. One of them's going to take him to the other, and then the third is going to take him to Wendy. Honestly, at this point, you're looking at finishing off panel 8 here and then being on your way to Wendy, no matter how it takes you. So a relatively quick World 3 here. We should be out of here in just another minute or so.
And Mustard is kind of pressing on the attack here a little bit. He actually put the Hammer Bro to sleep because he was directly in his path. So, it's like that's kind of his indication. Like he's really going for it here. He kind of has to. So he's gonna be doing stuff that he probably wouldn't have otherwise. Although he's generally lukewarm about MaCobra almost got hit again by the Disco Waffle. He's generally kind of lukewarm about Hammer Bro items in general, in my experience.
Absolutely. When you start looking at the Hammer Brother fights, that they take longer and longer depending on what kind of a stage that you have, depending on which Hammer Brothers or Fire Brothers or Sludge Brothers, whatever the case may be, whoever's there can dictate how long that fight will take. And, sometimes the item just isn't worth it. He knows he's got a Hammer Brother suit already. He's ready for Bowser. He's held on to this tail for a long time. I believe now he's got the mushrooms, so he's going to be entering this next world with a mushroom raring to go. I kind of got to applaud him for this. Don't waste time with those Hammer Brothers. Just get through it.
Right. Got an anchor there from the princess. We'll see what that is. Double fort. No other forts. Oh boy. Cobra's got double fire bros in water. He handles it like a champ and gets a star for his effort. So good move by Mustard, skipping it all together and saving about 12 seconds. Turned out to be a rather useless item. MaCobra is in the World 1 airship now. Over a minute back. He's got a shot at a fire kill here on Wendy. It's actually a pretty easy arena to do it in. Wendy giving him the business there, but MaCobra finishes her off at 9:23, so about 90 seconds back now.
Yeah, a little bit of a problem with that fire kill. The 7 fireballs came out real easy, and then the next 3 were a little bit harder. Thankfully, he was able to get through without any further issues, though.
Fortunate for him, Mustard's now on 6-2. First fort, 5F1 was the correct answer. It did make the bridge, so now it's just a question of getting there. He's going to have to play this, and he's going to have to play one more stage.
MaCobra trying to figure out exactly what HUmanMustard already knows, and that's, where on earth am I going?
Oh, he's going to play 2 more stages, excuse me, and one of them is 7-1. Mustard has to do this with a tail that's a sub-pixel perfect trick. It can be done, it's just much harder than it will be for MaCobra if he holds on to Big Mario. Talk about your equalizers, this could turn the tables in a hurry. Okay, it took about 8 tries there for Mustard, but, you know, that's time he doesn't necessarily have.
Absolutely. Yeah, when you look at 7-1, and the longer it takes, obviously that's just a huge time waste at this point. And he's got to get a move on. He knows it. He has got to keep moving. And that 7-1, albeit with the tail, did take longer. Not the worst he could have done, thankfully.
Mustard actually picks up a hammer there off of the hammer bro. So that still has some utility. We still have Worlds 2 and 6 to play.
Absolutely. Obviously, we're not going to be going for a double hammered strat anymore. So if you got it, use it. World 6 is a great option, especially if you don't see all the pipes right away. You know, give it a try. Or it's going to be useful later for a 1 level skip. World 2 could be anywhere from 0 to about 3 or 4 levels that you can skip with a rock. So we'll see what MaCobra can do here.
Subpixel there. Mustard's on the World 7 airship. We're having some trouble here with the clip. Okay, also took him 8 tries. Huh. And judging from that hammer bro's position, he might opt to skip it. He might miss out on his hammer.
Absolutely. MaCobra finishing off his level, whereas HUmanMustard is also getting into the airship. That's going to be a World 7 airship that MaCobra is going to have to find here in just one moment. And Iggy goes down with not so much of a fight.
12-18 for Mustard on the wand grab. MaCobra catching up a little bit, but not by nearly enough for him. And again, he's going to miss out on that hammer. It looks like, if my the map is correct on the Hammer Bros. Lock is impeding him.
Absolutely. And another water level with the Hammer Brothers, or the Boomerang Bros in this case. Unfortunately, he did have the Fire Flower to easily take care of that.
Nice fire kill there by Mustard, taking out Boss Bass in midair in 5-2. So the hammer might pay off, it might not. We're going to have to take a look at the map and to get a 100% certainty on this. pretty quick fight for MaCobra. He catches up. He gets some time back. He's about 75 seconds back, as Mustard is now in 1-4.
You see one of the very classic first levels that you'd come to. Of course, we took the auto-scroller off. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Right. 5-9 at Atlantis being the only auto-scrollers, and the 3-7 item as well.
Absolutely. We'll see what HUmanMustard wants to do here. It's going to be interesting. I think you definitely play the fort here, take the pipes, and then you end up with the level 1 panel.
Right, you definitely play the fort here, no question. So hammer is actually valueless here, unless you really don't want to deal with a pipe transition. But that's only like 3 seconds. Mustard taking some damage there in carpet fort.
Yeah, a little unfortunate. Thankfully, only one drunk hotfoot. It looks like he's able to navigate 2 of them to closer to the left-hand side, and then the third finally wanders that way and isn't able to play any effect on where HUmanMustard goes afterwards. Meanwhile, MaCobra doing his best to get caught up here. About a stage and a half behind at this point.
About maybe a little bit more, but he has his routing has been on point so far. Mustard using a star, start 5-5 off.
Honestly, I love the choice. 5-5 can be very difficult right out the gate, and especially with those fire snakes. I mean, blind guess, but his blind guesses have been on point today so far. I like it.
Cobra unfortunately lost out on his fire flowers, so he will not get a fire kill on Boom Boom, which would have saved him a few seconds there. But so we're on the World 3 airship for Mustard.
He'll be able to take the top route, no issue at all. We'll dip down halfway in between, which is a very good choice. If you don't have the speed, obviously you don't want to get caught up because the flamethrower, excuse me, will play a factor, and he's able to navigate that perfectly. And with that, that is a 16-14 wand grab, and that is the middle of the seed so far. We're looking at a pretty decent time so far. Obviously, if it keeps up for the next half, that's going to be about a 32-minute. We'll see if they're able to hit that.
Well, it's actually not that much. It's actually it's only moderately faster than game 1, which was a 16:33 for MaCobra at halftime. So, you know, they're playing about even right now. We still have worlds 1, 5, and 6 to play. There's world 1, and depending on where that. Okay, so you're gonna have to play 5 stages. So this will be a long world. World 1, and MaCobra picking up a cloud there. That's a nice find for him.
You know, it's one of those things, if you're the runner, you hate to see it. If you're the comms and audience, I'd say you love to see it. It looks like it's going to be a much longer World 1. Whether you decide to play 5 levels or 4 levels in a fortress, doesn't matter. It still all adds up to 5. And we're in for a long World 1. We'll see if 5 and 6 also play by those rules.
Cobra trying to go for a fire kill on Morton. He's mistiming his shots, though. It finally takes care of him with enough damage and gets it out at 17:36. So still about a minute and change for Mustard, his lead, padded by MaCobra's disastrous Piranha Fort.
Absolutely. We've seen just a little bit of a change on both directions of the metronome here. First seed, it was HUmanMustard having an issue with 8-1, coupled with 6-6, and then a couple of Hammer Bros that did not want to stop running around. And now this time, you know, the 7F2, I think, is kind of set in for MaCobra as well. And at this point, HUmanMustard is definitely ahead. The biggest question is, can he finish it? Can he take it home?
Like he's had the lead. MaCobra has held serve since then. He hasn't really let this turn into a total blowout. He's still well within range. Unfortunately, Mustard's early mishaps compounded and kind of spiraled. And we have another anchor. It's only a raccoon tail, as we have learned, so nothing special. 2-4, and MaCobra screen 1-2 for Mustard. 2-4 is actually one of those stages you don't exactly want to see right out of the block, because those hammer bros can be really nasty.
Absolutely. If you have a fire flower, it tends to work a little better. If you can get fortunate and find a star throughout the level, that's very good. And honestly, if you have a tail at the very beginning, I honestly don't mind taking that path. You can run a little bit faster on the top. Obviously, it does take a little bit of time to get up there, but then getting through there really isn't too bad, and it's really safe too.
So unfortunately, gonna have to play the coin ship here. You cannot music box them to sleep. MaCobra taking, I think, some unintended damage. Another hammer for Mustard. So his early hammer advantage has largely been negated unless 2 hammers are actually required in World 6, which is unlikely but not impossible.
Absolutely. It would be very interesting to see that. Maybe if he needs to come back and play a fortress, that would be a rare situation. But you've got it. Use it. It would save you a pipe transition, which isn't long, but, every little bit helps.
20:03 for Mustard. MaCobra finishing off the second hand stage. So 2.5 stages back, right? About 2.5 stages back.
And one issue here is 1-2 is such a difficult one to play on Randomizer as far as getting your P-speed strats down. And obviously we see a lot of lagging on MaCobra's screen. That is from the memory of the game. With that chain chomp constantly bouncing along and all those other enemies coming into memory, it definitely does take its toll on the game's memory, and it will slow it down a little bit. So that's not just an on-screen glitch. That is actually happening on the game.
So Mustard has a shot. It looks like he's going to get to use that hammer. So we'll see where this 4th pipe ends up going. Okay, so we got a couple of 4ths, both of them in ready access. So it's a question of gambles. Which one? Okay, we've got one in 6-4's location. The other one is up in the top island where that pipe normally is. So if this is it, it's a free world for Mustard, and that really will be a big help to him.
And if not, there's definitely a level in between him and the rock. And on the other side, there's a level between him and the fortress. So I think you definitely have to go back here, check, and then go towards the fortress if you have to.
Well, it was an easy call in this case because he knew right away that what it was, because the lock by the 6-2 spot did not break.
Absolutely, and with that, he's won a 50-50 finally, and he's onto his fight with Lemmy. Looks like he's going to go for the fire kill. Looks like it's going to be easy peasy if he can get it here. He does, and just like that, we are on to World 7, which is going to be World 5.
That Lemmy fire kill is actually one of the easiest in the game to do in World 4 Airship, because he's already starting at a lower position.
MaCobra figuring out what HUmanMustard just found out, and now he's going to go back and play the exact same fortress, it looks like, and we'll get his answer right off the bat as well.
So now we come to World 5. So hammers are out. MaCobra's still with an extra cloud, and he's going to use it in World 5 at some point. Not in the beginning, though, because there's no value.
MaCobra had to take a dive in in the 5th door to try to see if he could figure out what the item was there. Unfortunately, it was a 1-up, so he's going to have to take on Boom Boom Small. No big deal, but it does take a little bit more time, so that is a little bit more of a time loss. But with that, he is going to be on to his fight with Lemmy as well.
he'll probably use a power-up before actually starting it. So we've got pipe, 2 forts. The tan fort, of course, will create the bridge. Now, the question is... Well, actually, I would actually 100% check that pipe before playing the blue fort, just to get a look at the map, because it is a free check.
Yeah, the name of the game here at this point, especially on HUmanMustard's side, is knowledge is power. If you know what you're looking at, if you know what you're going into before you get to the Sky World, and especially with World A, once you figure out where Bowser's at, once you figure out where your bridges are, once you figure out that information, then you plan accordingly and you finish it off. You take the seed, you force game 3, and you're ready.
Mustard is in the Navy. Cobra grabbed the one at 23:58, so just under about a minute 40 behind now. Kind of a high five here from our runners. The Cobra's in 6:10 with a cheap. So pipe tower is negligible, hammer not required. Mustard used his cloud right away and ends up in 6-9. Not a terrible stage to end up in.
No, not at all, especially with the Fire Flower. He's going to be able to go through about half this level, and then of course go under to finish off this level on the top right side, where a pipe will be waiting for him. Unfortunate slip through the cracks there, and now he's going to try to get away from the separating blooper. He is able to do so and finish off his 6-9, which thankfully was able to get through without any more issues. That could have been a very scary and a big time loss for him.
So he skipped 5-1. He's got a couple of anchors, and the last stage is 3-3. So a pretty good play for Mustard, and so long as he used it. So I think MaCobra's more likely to play it on the 3-3 tile than he is the first tile, whatever that is.
Oh, totally agree with that. I think it was a very gutsy call. I think it was a good choice to go ahead and do it. That means you're definitely getting in. And there's the possibility that he doesn't want to have to contend with the Hammer Brother coming back that direction. So, you know, maybe he had his reasons for doing it. Maybe it was regard to the Hammer Brother. Who knows?
That might have been right. MaCobra, not so fortunate, will have to play the Hammer Bro and gets a star. So, and it's a one-hit Roy. So 26-34. So Mustard on his way to about a 32-33 minute seed. I'm sorry for those expecting sadism in this seed. MaCobra is playing 1-5. That is the level Mustard skipped.
Well, to be fair, we did have a 7F2 right off the bat, as well as a pretty long World 3. So I'd say we're doing pretty good.
Yeah. Excuse me. So MaCobra is gonna need basically a coin flip to go his way here. Well, that Mustard is not interested in playing tanks, and MaCobra sails through to the airship using his remaining clouds.
I find this interesting of a strategy. I kind of have to applaud HUmanMustard for going ahead and taking the 100 coin fine and saying, you know what, I have to get going. And I kind of like this strategy. It's gutsy. It is definitely gutsy, but I feel like he's also playing with the mindset of find Bowser and get this over with. So he's already finding a lot of locks at this point. So he knows that there's not going to be many bridges once he does find Bowser. But it also looks like he's searching to figure out, okay, where exactly is this pipe?
Yeah, he's seeing that the routes to the forts are closed off, so he's got to play something. MaCobra is going to take another 100 coin fine himself, or maybe not. Okay, there he is. Didn't want to wait on the damage. Okay, so It looks like MaCobra's going the same route as Mustard right now.
I think best case scenario here for HUmanMustard is that he hasn't played a level extra yet, and he's hoping that it's not going to be a linear path. If
Oh
this
boy.
is the correct fort, this game's over.
Yeah, it's over. A 25% chance at this point. Cobra's not quite ready to commit to that just yet. A moment of truth. Nope.
Little unfortunate, but maybe that opened up one of the routes that he was looking at initially. I'm just a little fearful that he's going to have to go back to the beginning and play the level that he already took, I guess, out on.
Possible. He's going to play 4F1 first. So we know where the other forts are. So Cobra has now found the path, and he's going to play 4F2 after this.
So HUmanMustard has just completed a fortress. Does he go back and check if something doesn't break here?
Well, now he's going to play Super Tanks, which is a fort. So this is going to break the lock behind. Well, not necessarily, but it might break the other lock where it creates the bridge.
I could be wrong here, but the fortress on the very beginning, the lava lake, was protected by a lock. Is it possible that it doesn't break that lock? Because this will be the fourth icon that we've seen.
Everything has to break, so you know it is a 50-50 at this point. We know it's not Air Force. That much we can ascertain. So yeah, I think this has to break that lock. I
agree. Which means we're going to have to go back to Lava Lake, play the level that they skipped, play the fortress, beat it, come back, beat Bowser, and then that's the game. So we've got a few minutes left before Bowser comes out.
It is the fort up front, so fortunately it's a very linear 8. That's not what MaCobra needs. He needed something really nasty and dicey. He got this instead.
Absolutely, and I would definitely have to agree and reiterate on that. Is, you know, MaCobra was definitely looking for something where he could make a gamble, make a chance, make a change, you know, do something that was going to work in his favor. HUmanMustard played it identically to what MaCobra had done, which means that HUmanMustard was also gambling on a gamble seed. I think that is such a wise decision on HUmanMustard's part because he's got the lead. He has to keep the lead, and if it's linear, it's in his favor already. But if it's gamble, and if he had gotten it right, and that was the Navy was the correct fortress, that's game over. He's already won.
And answer chat's question, everything has to be necessarily accessible.
Absolutely. One way or another, even if you have to go a very roundabout way to do it, such as being in World 5, going up to the Sky Zone, and then coming back down on the tower to get to the right-hand side to beat the fortress that builds the bridge, everything still is accessible. It's a pain in the butt, which is why we don't do 100% runs of this. But yes, that is definitely the case there.
Done 100% runs. We go in with the caveat that the one thing that is not required is the hammer bro behind that boulder in World 2.
Absolutely, not always guaranteed a hammer by that point. With that, HUmanMustard has gotten right back to Bowser's Castle. He means business at this point. MaCobra going in with a frog, or with a mushroom in disguise, and there's the mushroom. HUmanMustard not taking any time at all, headed into Bowser's Castle with a hammer suit. If he gets a little bit luckier here with the fireball pattern, as well as a lack of laser, he will. That is the end of Bowser. Folks, get your GGs out for HUmanMustard for an outstanding run. And that, he knows it, is going to be the end of Bowser, the end of C2. Get ready for round 3.
Yep, so Mustard will finish with an official race time of 33:42.
Also, MaCobra is going to be getting done here in just one moment as well. Make sure you get your GGs in chat for him. Also, take this time. We're going to be getting started with round 3 here in just a few minutes. We're going to get the runners started here, and of course, it'll be a few minutes after that we get started. Use this time, stretch your legs, run around, do some jumping jacks, whatever it is, get that going, get that done, because we will be right back here. You are not going to want to miss this. Winner goes home or goes to the finals. Loser goes to a best of 3 for a 3rd place finish. Both vying for their best possible spot here. You don't want to miss it. Don't go far. Yeah, both runners are definitely at home already. I misspoke. I meant, in the figurative speech, they're going to go home with the prize. They're going to, anyway, just, you got me. In the background, in our timing chat, we were talking about the previous race, and HUmanMustard feeling very confident with that one. Felt like he had ran it perfectly, and it shows the 33:43 that you see there versus the 34:56. It was just about that close. I mean, 1 minute apart. 7F2 was the great equalizer in that one. Routing was virtually identical throughout the rest of the game. Well played on both runners' behalf. Very well done. We're looking at a game 3 here of the semifinals, and we are looking for, I want to say, nothing short of excitement. The seat has just been rolled for the runners, and one of the things that was said before this game started, Pro A, was you were wanting a race that was within 4 frames. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, we need something that's even closer than the Game 1 result between me and MaCobra on Tuesday.
I think I can speak for all of us. I would love to see that as well. It was an insanely close match. DLP and I were absolutely stunned in the comms booth at that point. How can you get so close? And it's only being as exceptional as all of you guys are in running, it's fantastic to see. And obviously HUmanMustard, he's claimed his right to be here. MaCobra claimed his right to be here. Both have staked it here and said, look, we've had a good run, we've had not as good of a run at this point, let's get it going. Both runners going to be fighting for this third spot. I am really excited to see what happens next. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Seriously, you don't want to miss this.
So runners are set. We'll be starting in a few moments. So get your popcorn ready. We'll be starting in 5 minutes.
Seems like this would be a really good time at this point to go ahead and give a couple of shout outs here. We want to thank everyone for being a part of this tournament so far. Definitely a special thank you to ProA007, who worked with SpeedGaming, who was able to put all of this on. Without this, obviously we wouldn't be here. SpeedGaming has made this possible. ProA made it possible for SMB3, our community, to be here. Definitely appreciate that for sure. MaCobra52, HUmanMustard, being the outstanding runners they are. This would not be nearly as exciting if it wasn't for the runners who have participated in this. We've seen a lot of really good races so far. Obviously, we've got Teeks taking on Mitch Flower Power at some point to be determined still. We're trying to get the confirmation for that. You don't want to miss that. And if you don't want to miss that, definitely go to SpeedGaming, as well as SpeedGaming 2 through SpeedGaming 6. They put on a lot of great content. Obviously, get your notifications on for that. You don't want to miss it. You really, really don't want to miss it. They put on a lot of really great stuff, a lot of really great content, a lot of really fantastic runs. I mean, they really do a great job, and they make this possible for us to be here for the SG Live tournament and everything like that. So definitely a huge shout outs to them. Really appreciate it. Everybody coming out tonight, and chat, you especially, we definitely appreciate you. Obviously, we wouldn't be here either. We love the game. We'll play it. We'll watch it. We'll do all this stuff. Obviously, I mean, we're sitting here talking about it. We love this game. But if it wasn't for you all interacting and being a part and enjoying this with us, it wouldn't be nearly as entertaining for us as well. So thank you so much for being here. With that, chat, while I've got you on the spotlight, I want to go ahead and ask you, what's coming up next? I know a lot of people like the reverse order. Maybe we go vanilla order this time. Get your guesses in the chat. What world are we starting with?
Stick to that reverse world order. It's got to happen sometime.
I think I'm going to have to shake things up a little bit. We haven't been in the sandy start for a while. So I think we're going to have to go with the desert scene and say World 2's coming up first. We've got a couple minutes still before this next race gets started. And I do have a question for you all. I have been playing this game ever since I was a kid. I remember growing up, we used to love watching, especially when my mom played, we loved watching and seeing what exactly was going on. We'd love to see it as she went through the levels and everything. And I guess my question for you is, what is your favorite item in this game? Power up, overworld item, whatever it is. What's your favorite item in this game?
Sure why that is happening with the star icon for MaCobra, but rest assured this is a game 3 1-to-1 tie between our two runners.
Getting a lot of really good responses in chat. ProA, do you have any kind of a favorite?
Not really. Maybe the Tanuki suit.
growing up, I used to love the frog suit. I was all about frogs. They were my favorite animal when I was a kid. I was all about frogs, and I loved getting to World 3. I would make my stop at the very first world, Toad House in the World 3, and I would grab my frog suit, and I just loved playing with that.
Just about ready to kick this off. Go for the finals.
Our runners will be gearing up here in just one moment. And of course, we'll be getting started in all the action and everything. I am really seriously excited at this point. I think this is going to be an outstanding run. We've seen a little bit of a glitch on both sides. MaCobra having issues on that second seed with a 7F2 rocky start. HUmanMustard with a little bit of a rough start on that first one with 8-1 into 6-6. We get a World 1 start. So far, vanilla. That fort is going to be required. No matter which way you look at it, this is going to be a 2-level start.
Interesting that both of them actually played the fort location right off the bat. I'm not really sure how that occurred. MaCobra stopped to take the star and used that to help him P-speed his way through. So 4-4 for the third time in this randomizer.
MaCobra going to be able to utilize his 80% warpless and 100% strats to his advantage, and that is going to mean a little bit of a head start for him, both with his P-speed on 2-4 or 2-5, excuse me, and with this one as well. He's going to be able to utilize that to his advantage and be about 15 seconds ahead by the end of this.
Quite that far, but he is up early. Let's see how this shakes out. We got 5F1 leading off the forts.
I'd like to retract my previous statement. Give or take 10 seconds. We're about a 5-second difference so far. Of course, doesn't mean anything until the big wizard falls at the end. And at this point, that's all we're waiting for.
Ooh. Mustard tried to press the attack and unfortunately got a little too overzealous, so hopefully he doesn't get himself into another tilted situation, but MaCobra is out of 5F1.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a little bit of an issue for HUmanMustard. I know he's got to be feeling the fact that he did not get a power-up for a long time at the beginning. You know, it wasn't until the Fortress that he was actually able to get something. Hopefully he can put this behind himself. It's not done yet. There's a lot of game to play and a lot of 50-50 still. You're only on a legitimate World 1. Shake it off. You got a long way to go, man.
We got Ice Beta for the first time tonight. We got 5-8. I think this is the second time we're seeing this.
Even with it being a 5-level World 1, a lot of these stages are going to be really quick for these runners if they can start getting a move on. We just saw MaCobra do a very nice P-speed strat through there, and with that, he's going to be on the airship in just a moment. Hopefully, we can see HUmanMustard kind of calm down a little bit and get to the point where he can start racing and really put on the accelerator.
Speaking of accelerator, MaCobra is kind of waiting for those giant hammer bros to make a move. Finally got rid of them, but Mustard with a raccoon tail can't quite utilize the P-speed strats. And another unfortunate death for Mustard. So, God, I hope he didn't jinx. I hope he didn't jinx himself there.
Absolutely. What a terrifying place to be at this point. You got to feel for HUmanMustard. Right now, he's looking for an item, can't get it. We just saw MaCobra get a fire flower on the end of his fight with the Sledge Brothers. Unfortunately, with the change of position, that also changes whether or not you get items. And unfortunately, that means HUmanMustard's going to be looking for a spot here. And even now, he's not going to be able to get the P-Speed strat. Hopefully, the jumps are on point and he can finish this off without any further issues.
So 327 wand grab for MaCobra. He's had no problem with his P-Speed strats in the World 4 airship. So we're World 6 now at a fort in a basically a forced draw there. So he's just going to do it right now.
Carpet fort again. I think we've seen this one as well 3 times tonight.
Well, we're gonna see it. We're gonna see all the forts. The one fort we have not seen, however, at all is one fort. .428 for Mustard, so a minute behind early. Not where you want to be. But the night is young. Mustard is more than capable of making a comeback here.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit excited about this at this point. It's not going to be the exact same change that we saw at the beginning, where he had a huge issue getting started right off the bat. But we are going to see a little bit of a difference in play, I think, at this point. And with him only being a stage or 2 behind, about 2 stages behind at this point, anything can happen. I mean, HUmanMustard has made some really good calls, albeit blind calls, but still nonetheless really excellent plays at this point. I'm not counting him out of this yet. You've got to get some 50-50s right, and if you can do that, and then get into the great equalizers and finish them off, you've got a prayer.
So, MaCobra gets his P-Wing. Mustard just about done with the carpet fort. MaCobra had a little trouble in 7-3 there. MaCobra's going to take a look at the pipe. Okay, so this is a forced draw. And there's 2 10s on the tile board, so that means this is a 2-fort World 6.
HUmanMustard getting that star. We'll see if he gets the next one. It looks like he is not. So he'll utilize this star to his advantage as much as possible. We'll see if he's able to get through without any other issues.
Cobra making a pit stop to get Fire Mario. Needed to do that twice, but well worth it, especially if he has to deal with nasty Hammer Bros.
HUmanMustard about to find the same thing out that MaCobra just did, which means he will be coming right back and playing 3F1. With that, we go to a Boomerang brother fight with MaCobra.
Cobra had to play the first Hammer Bro because it was a forced draw, because it was right there in front of me. He had to play the second Hammer Bro, forced draw. So this is giving Mustard a chance to catch up just by, you know, RNG, not anything to do with what MaCobra's done or not done.
I think here in a moment, he's definitely going to have to start thinking about either playing the music box or possibly going after one of the Boomerang brothers, which we'll see here in just a moment. And I think that's a very good decision. That should keep the marathons down for him, and hopefully won't get RNG'd like he did last time.
Take him off that. He's because of the Hammer Bro. Oh, he found Atlantis.
That will be an early exit by HUmanMustard, and he will decide to go the other way this time.
Play these Hammer Bros as a result, and MaCobra is going to have to do the same. He's got the ice arena, Mustard's got the grass, but they both get their stars anyways. So
that was a beautiful fight on behalf of HUmanMustard. He missed that initial break on the block to take out the Hammer Brother that was on the second level at the start, and with that, he was able to maintain himself until he was able to take a late shot on the one that was jumping down, and then was able to finish off the fight. Very well done. Easily could have taken a death there, but he was patient. He held to it, and now he's in 7-4 as well. And we'll be finding Lemmy's Castle here in just another minute or so.
Cobra gets the offstage wand grab, so he'll shave about 2.5 seconds there. so you won't have to scroll down. Mustard got a little jammed up there at the end of 7-4, but is now through, so...
And currently through with a mushroom, so that's a really good place to be. You're not feeling like you can't play a little more aggressive, I think, with a mushroom, as you would with Small Mario. So still a really good place to be, whereas MaCobra only had a Small Mario and had to take a power-up. We'll see if HUmanMustard has to do the same here.
So another force, more force draws with the fours. We got 6F1. MaCobra going for kind of a P-speed strat here using the star. So that helped him speed through that a little bit. Mustard dealing with Lemmy. 4-hit Lemmy.
Meanwhile, 5 fireballs is enough for Boom Boom.
So the 1 minute deficit remains as Cobra heads now on to 5-5. Fire snakes galore.
Yeah, 5-5 is kind of one of those. If a level could look like Anxiety, this level would be it. 5-5 is not a terribly difficult level. It's mostly flat for the most part, and plenty of power-ups. It's got to be one of the levels with the most power-ups throughout the game. And it still is nerve-wracking because you have the very strenuous and scary task of possibly falling through, and unfortunately HUmanMustard did just fall through there as well.
6F1, unfortunately, so another unfortunate death. I think he's starting to press a little bit. He's actually going to his hammer suit, and he's giving it up for a damage boost. Not sure I necessarily agree with that, but we digress. Mustard is just about done. MaCobra saw 4-3 for the first time tonight.
You gotta ask the question at this point, how risky is too risky? You've got one Hammer Brother suit, albeit you're in the third world right now, so you've got 5 more to go, where potentially you could get a Hammer Brother, or Hammer Brother suit, I should say. Is that a risky strategy? Is it worth it?
I don't know. I think that's more just trying to... because he saw what Ford was, he was just trying to set up like a quick damage boost there because he didn't get it the first time. That is a tricky jump, but you know, I think I would have held off myself, but because I like to have that as like a fail-safe. So we'll see how. So the pipes are useless here, and we have 7-3 beta. MaCobra suddenly got a fire suit, so I'm guessing the anchor is a fire suit.
And having no troubles with it this time. He had a little bit of trouble with it in the last seed, learned from his mistakes, and now he is through and on to, well, whichever he chooses at this point.
It looks like he's going to go for the items. 6-1 with an Angry Sun, pretty straightforward stage. He took a damage boost there around the Piranha, so Mustard now dealing with 5F2. He's very good at the P-speed strats in this stage, so this should give him a nice cushion.
And this is a great one to do it on. There's a lot of time that could potentially be burned here, and with that he's through with a Fire Flower suit on, which means Boom Boom's not going to take long at all to get through, and hopefully that's a little bit more time he can make up here.
Possibly. Cobra got a P-Wing off the first Hammer Bro, and the second Hammer Bro actually went right into his path, so he's going to just finish him off too. So we'll see if Mustard can get any time back with the Hammer Bros situation.
You know, we've commented before on HUmanMustard being kind of lukewarm to even cold on going for the items that the Hammer Bros have. And we are already in World 3, so I'm not surprised to see him go for this top half. He actually finds World 1, 2 here, which is not a terrible level to play through. He won't be able to get the P-Speed strats necessarily, but even with that, it's not a terribly long level. He'll be out of here in just a few more seconds.
Yeah, MaCobra did pick up a hammer off of the second hammer, bro. MaCobra made a half-hearted attempt at the ship clip, but did not get it. So Mustard is going to miss out on a hammer. We'll see if that hurts him or not. We've already seen 2 and 6 off the board, so that minimizes the potential damage, but 3 and 4 are still in play.
Absolutely. I think at this point, when you've seen the levels that they've been playing already, World 3 has been a little strange and really not a whole lot that can help them with the hammers. I believe the first seed, there was a possibility of utilizing that double hammer strat, which would have put them right next to the pipe. 2 forts later, they would have been on Wendy's tentatively. So maybe it will, but then the second one obviously wasn't even a factor. So I don't know. At this point, it's anybody's guess at this point.
See what the next world is. Mustard kind of taking the damage because they have World 4. Hammer is potentially useful here, but it's a pretty low percentage play. And in this case, no value whatsoever.
No, not with that fort being there. There's really no reason to go around it. At this point, he's going to have to go back and play the fort, see if it's required or not, and then, get a couple levels in before he has to go to the castle.
Mustard grabs one at 15-15, so Jugum Cloud, so a 57-second gap. MaCobra picking up a Jugum Cloud off of that hammer, bro. It's kind of a vanilla hammer, or vanilla cloud. Uh-oh. Cobra going into the drink there. I think he just clipped into the gap a little bit, and that's what did him in.
That is a very stressful flight pattern there, because if you miss that at all, you're in danger right there. So, unfortunate loss of life there for MaCobra. He's going to wind up going small, but should be able to get through this time.
So, Mustard taking a look at the map, though, the 4-7 tile should have tipped him off that this is, in fact, a 1-fort world. So now MaCobra activates his other anchor and gets his Fire Mario back for Waterfall.
HUmanMustard just hitting 6F2 had no issues getting through the first time, so that will be a little bit of time save coming back in HUmanMustard's favor. Every little bit helps at this point.
He is definitely back in this. There's about a 25-30 second gap between them. He is going to have to take on these hammer bro, and there it is. There it goes. The mushroom this time from MaCobra. Mustard actually opting to use the cloud here to skip Waterfall, and he ends up in 7-6 in the 4-6 location. He's ignoring those hammer bros. He does not want any part of them. And, well, MaCobra found 5-3, so a good call there by Mustard.
Okay, I was going to say, it looks like maybe an unfortunate death there. He did opt to go for 5-3, so currently we are looking very, very close at this point. And if HUmanMustard, okay, he does get out of it, and he's going to be on the castle right behind MaCobra. Our time lead has changed. We are very close.
One thing that does play to MaCobra's favor right now is he has an extra hammer. That is his one ace in the hole right now. Especially if a second hammer pops up, that puts him potentially in a chance to make a huge jump. Yeah, the gap has narrowed considerably here. It's now down to less than 20 seconds through 4 worlds at 1806, 1824. So much a longer first half with 3, 5, and 7 still in play. There's a hammer suit, so that's bad. So that's no longer a concern. See if they regret burning. Let's see if they regret burning their hammers on 7-1. There's a level to pipe there. We'll see. Okay, so we've got the intelligence. We know we're okay. So that's out.
Interesting choice for HUmanMustard here. He didn't even bother with the other pipe. He just opted to go straight for the level.
Yeah, and MaCobra is going to play this to get to the fort. Unfortunately for him, it's 7-8, of course.
I'm not sure I understand the strategy here from HUmanMustard, other than I think he may just be thinking he's doing something aggressive and hoping that it sticks. And MaCobra needing to be careful here. Thankfully, he was able to get out all right.
It's a leaf, so... So yeah, so Mustard did play a level needlessly, and now he's going to be kind of doing this. Well, he's going to go. Now we got a 50-50 here. Who's right? 7F2 or whatever MaCobra plays, which will probably be, I bet, 7F1. Watch. See?
Well, thankfully for MaCobra, he does already have the tail, and HUmanMustard came in with the Fire Flower, and if there's a better choice of items for either of these levels, I sure would like to know.
So, moment of truth. What breaks?
That is the big question at this point. It really can go either way.
And MaCobra guesses right.
That is going to be really difficult. We see HUmanMustard with his fingers crossed on that. Unfortunately, he just found out that that is incorrect, and he's going to have to go back and try to find the European continent up at the center of the map, and that is a heartbreak for him. That's going to be a really, really hard one to try to come back from at this point. Up till this point, he was only like 20 seconds behind he brought it back to, and unfortunately, that's going to be him using all the pipe transitions to try to get back to where he was, and then figuring out 7F1, and then coming back and playing the castle, which now MaCobra is already on.
So, yeah, that is a very tough beat for Mustard, who could be at least a minute behind, possibly more, probably more, and now Mustard's starting, I think, to panic a little bit. Not that I blame him necessarily, but Mustard's out at 21:37, so well in control here. Mustard is just pressing now. He's trying to get to that north central island.
It's definitely impossible to know that you're wrong here. I know he's had a couple of issues thus far, so he has to believe that he is behind a little bit. And taking a 50-50 like that is just a really unfortunate place to be, because getting it wrong does mean you've got to go back and figure out, okay, now what?
This is interesting. We've got one fort here.
HUmanMustard having a lot of problems with this pipe transitions. He's not able to figure out exactly where he needs to go. He's gone back to the third island multiple times, still can't figure out the right place to be. At this point, a 1 minute loss would have been much more satisfying than what's going on now. I mean, we're going to be like 2, 3, 4 minutes behind at this point, depending on how it all works out for him.
We're looking at about 3 minutes right now, I'd say, especially if he doesn't pick up that leaf at some point. Hopefully he knows the game's tendency to count. So MaCobra guessed right with the fort and the pipe connection. So so he had to play an extra level. It was 2-4, so, you know, kind of negligible there, but he's going to now play the tower. I believe this is our first appearance of the tower.
I do believe so as well.
Yeah, no tower, so yeah, our first appearance of the tower today. MaCobra is in the tower, Mustard is getting his Tanuki suit. And yeah, the World 7, you know, we talk about World 8 being the great equalizer. 7 can be equally brutal, especially if you kind of get lost in your routing.
That's a very terrible place to be. I had a very similar situation yesterday in a fun run. I played World 7 as poorly as possible, and you know, when you miss the pipe and when you start to get caught up and you see the same pipes over and over again, it really does gets disconcerting. It's very difficult to come back from that. And unfortunately, with every pipe transition, with every level, with every fortress, that's just one more thing that's taking more time for HUmanMustard, unfortunately.
Play 5-7 before he moves on. He already put the Piranha to sleep. So, that really had no effect on anything. He was going to have to play this regardless, so it was a forced draw. So Air Force on the way now from MaCobra before he has to turn around and finish this off.
And HUmanMustard on his way through World 7's boss of Ludwig von Koopa. At this point, you have to start thinking about World 8. You know, there's not going to really be a whole lot of time to gain back in the next two worlds, which we're going to see as 5 and 3 in that order at this point. So,
well, it's possible. In World 3, who knows? If you get a couple of 50-50 plays, you know, it can swing, but it's not something you should. If that's what you're depending on, you're already in a lot of trouble. Or
yeah,
you're
absolutely.
like me, and you're like me, and you're hoping that your double hammers are actually going to pay off.
Yeah, with it being World 7 in our randomizer, that is a very real possibility, and we'll see what happens. I'm curious if HUmanMustard goes for the item here, or if he actually goes for the fight. If he gets the bridge here, that would be interesting to see the difference.
It helps, but it's a means to an end, I think. The World 7 airship from MaCobra, perfect P-speed strats. Incidentally, we have a 4-minute gap between our runners through 5 worlds. Yeah.
So that was the bridge, and he's going to find out that the spiral tower is still required.
Yeah.
Not a bad play. That means one less level that he's going to have to play, as well as take on a hammer bro. So, no big deal. I think that's still a really good play.
Yeah, and it was probably the more accurate move, but he probably suspected as much because World 1 cannot impede progress. Yeah, this would definitely be a good spot for a double hammer if MaCobra has it, because there's 2 locks blocking essentially the south central island, or the south part of the island there. So
I'm pretty certain as well that HUmanMustard does not have it. He has not played a whole bunch of Hammer Brothers. We've certainly seen more on MaCobra's side. He realizes he doesn't have them either, so he's going to have to play it the long way around.
Luckily, it's only 2 stages, and it looks like it's going to be a somewhat linear draw here. So MaCobra's done with quicksand. So now we got a pipe check. Himself the frog suit.
Yeah, one of the biggest things at this point, especially with World 3 and World 8, is going to be information. And that's exactly what both MaCobra and HUmanMustard are going to be looking for in these two worlds, because both are going to be as valuable in regard to where they go and what they do. In this case, they're obviously looking for the island on the far right side of the map, which houses Wendy, of course. And then on this side, you know, we're definitely trying to get at Bowser on World 8. So obviously a lot to go at this point, and you just gotta hope that HUmanMustard's able to get a couple of these things taken care of.
Yeah, fortunately, the way the map is drawn here in World... Oh, MaCobra got a little ahead of himself there and takes a death. Got a little caught. Not sure why he's doing this, but... Okay, he's just gonna play it through. Fine. It's 4F2. The two World 4 forts are, do love doubles. Especially World 4 and World 7 forts. They really get a lot of mileage out of that, it seems.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that happens a lot more often than you might think at times. But with that, you almost can plan for it. Obviously, MaCobra didn't know that Fort Knox was the second, and HUmanMustard wasn't able to utilize the tail before using 7F or visiting 7F1. But with that, we're going to see 2-1 on MaCobra's screen, and HUmanMustard doing his best to finish off the World 7 airship.
Still looking at about the same gap, about almost 4 minutes back at 30-42. So yeah, he's really behind. He's really in a lot of trouble here. He really needs something to happen. MaCobra's got a free pass now, and he's actually going to play coin ship. I think he's figured that the south pipe is the correct answer. And it probably is, based on just the way the logic seems to work.
MaCobra with a very nice shot to take out both of the Boomerang brothers before they were able to fire off on that coin ship. And HUmanMustard realizing very quickly that his item inventory is not very deep. And of course, he does not have the two hammers that would have been necessary to get him onto the pipe with Wendy. And that, of course, knowing now what we know, would have been a huge equalizer here and would have put HUmanMustard right back in the game.
Oh, MaCobra getting jobbed by Wendy. He's got two hammer suits, so good old Wendy. Yeah, they would have skipped 5 stages, essentially, playing, using a double hammer. So for MaCobra, instead of this taking about 5.5 minutes, probably would have taken about 90 seconds.
MaCobra still having some issues with Wendy here. The fight has just finished off, but not before taking out the Hammer Brother suit that MaCobra was holding on to. The mushroom in disguise has just been brought out for HUmanMustard. He is able to find that mushroom very quickly. Still opts to take the top route here, which I applaud for. It takes a little bit of time getting through the bottom part. And unfortunately, that will be a death by Thwomp here.
Yeah. So now we're on to World 8. We got a pipe in the top, and okay, 3 pipes and 8-2. So how do you play this out? Okay, well, they force you.
I'm going to make an early prediction here. I think that HUmanMustard's going to play level 2 as soon as he gets there. because at this point, as far as we know, obviously MaCobra hasn't finished yet. He just got to World 8. HUmanMustard hopefully will be visiting there very quickly. He is going to use this chance to actually go back and check if that's the correct one. It is not, but he doesn't know that yet, so he's going to have to go back and play the next fortress. And of course, we'll be doing that and wasting a little bit more time, because if he had just stayed and played the fortress, then he could go straight down after this level.
Possible. Got a lot of locks on the board here, so we'll see. So 1 fort down, 3 F2, so that's a quarter of the puzzle. Let's see what ends up breaking, and well, that is useful actually. That promotes some linearity. Mustard is just really, he gambled again big time, and it cost him. Unfortunately, we have to go back and play this again.
Absolutely, and with not going through and playing this the first time, that's all those pipe transitions that are lost. Obviously 2-1 was still going to be required. He still had to go through that and play it, but that is a little bit of time lost, and unfortunately you don't have much longer.
Cobra strangely opted to skip 8. Okay, he is going to play 8-2, and it's 5-1.
35 minutes into this race, and neither runner has finished yet. We still don't have a done command, obviously. Neither one of these runners, as you can tell, is finished, which I think is very interesting for sure, based on the fact that, these are both very exceptional runners. Both came in with really good averages coming into this tournament. You got to be feeling some pressure right now to make maybe some really weird choices at this point, and until you see your opponent hit that done button, you got to keep pushing and maybe do some things that don't make a lot of sense.
MaCobra gets a look at the board. He knows how to get to Bowser now, and it is behind 8-2. Now he's got to be playing forts like crazy. That 840 skip there will do fine as a starting point.
HUmanMustard going for a fire kill there on Windy. He was able to take care of it, so that's a one shot on Windy for him. And with that, he's going to be in World 8 as well. And all bets are off. He has got to do his absolute best here and get to Bowser as quickly as he can.
Cobra takes care of Super Tanks. Okay, he's going to have to play Air Force. And it is 8 fort. Best fort in the game.
From chat, we got a...
I say you did call it right. He did play 8-2 first.
You got to feel that that's the right choice. If you haven't seen that timer go off yet, play something that doesn't make sense. I mean, it's a little bit crazy, and at this point you got to do a risky strategy. Finals are on the line. It's a 1-1 right now. MaCobra is tied with HUmanMustard. Winner goes to finals. Loser goes to the best of 3 for third. And you got to do something crazy.
Yeah. Mustard is going to play the regular tanks. And MaCobra, I think, has got the answer. We'll see. He's going to play it like he's got it. Yep, he's got it. MaCobra is on his way to go into the finals for SG Live for the second year in a row.
Absolutely outstanding on both sides of the screen here. MaCobra playing very well in his first match. Second match had a little bit of a problem with the 7F2 enemy set that was unforgiving, and then a beautiful escalator clip for him. And then coming back this one really hard.
He pressed a bit in game 3. He had a hard time in a few spots, but World 7 and mac and cheese on the final clip, and that will pretty much bring it home for MaCobra, but yeah, World 7 really was the deciding factor here. That completely crippled Mustard's chances after he made a nice comeback. Break out the GGs in chat for our finalist, MaCobra52, bringing it home with an official race time of 38:50.
Apologies to anybody that was just on Speed Gaming and got kicked back off to Speed Gaming 3. Anyway, we are finishing up here. MaCobra, congratulations to him. Certainly get your GGs out. He's going to be going on to the finals. Cannot believe that he just took it. He certainly believed that he was behind. Really hard fought. I mean, even up till that World 7, it was just really well fought. And unfortunately, HUmanMustard was the one that fell this time. He took a gamble. He went after 7F2. Honestly, if you put me up to it, I would have said 7F2 every time. As many times as I've played it, it just seems like 7F2 is the one that is always required. And unfortunately for HUmanMustard, this time it wasn't.
Yeah, that failed 50-50 was really like the start of a really sort of nasty spiral. Plus the trouble with the routing with the pipes that really put him in a terrible position, and he just never recovered from that. MaCobra join us for an interview. Mustard has politely declined.
But of course, that is not the end of HUmanMustard for this game, for this tournament. Definitely watch for the third place match. It's going to be exciting, as they always are. He is going to be taking on the loser of Teeks versus Mitch Flower Power, which again, we are getting ready, or we are looking for the schedule for that. And then MaCobra, with his win tonight, will mean he plays the winner of the same matchup, Teeks versus Mitch Flower Power. And of course, we are all excited for that as well.
And if it's Mitch, it's a rematch of their final in May. And oh, Mustard, oh, of all the places to die.
Yeah, absolutely unfortunate there. It's absolutely terrifying in a place like that. You've already lost, you know that you've lost, and to take a death there, that's highly unfortunate. You hate to see it.
Well, we welcome our winner and finalist tonight, MaCobra52, to the chat. GG.
GG, man. That was a mix of emotions right there with all three races here. I don't know how to describe it, man. You can never tell with Mustard. He tends to surprise you in places.
Well, yeah, game 1 was pretty much all you. Game 2 was pretty much all him. Both of you had rough starts in your respective games. 8-1, he took a game over. He just got completely tilted.
Man.
And then, yeah, you got tilted a bit with game 2 with 7F2 just wrecking you. And then game 3, as it turned out, World 7, the fort result was what pretty much decided it. Then Mustard just completely had a terrible time with the routing and just, wrong pipe after wrong pipe, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, I had a feeling some of my decision with what forts to play and sort of influenced that a bit. Like in World 7, I went for that fort behind the level instead of trying to find the other fortress.
Yeah, yeah, and you got 7F1, he got 7F2, and once that the lock broke off stage, like that was pretty much it, and you took like a 4-minute lead going into the next world. Mustard went from being like 30 seconds back to being a lot farther back.
Wow. Hard to believe there, man.
But yeah, it's like the seeds themselves were just kind of giving you all sorts of like different looks at things. So your general impressions kind of match up with that.
Yeah, game one was pretty interesting with the 8-1 and 6-6 start. Thank you, Grau, for rolling that one.
You're welcome.
Game two, pretty seem more linear in nature. With a couple of decisions thrown in there. Like I said, I mean, the levels themselves weren't too difficult. It's just a matter of just flubbing stuff. Like the 6F2, I died once, and like you said, 7F2, I was struggling with that, trying to get PCV in that and getting through it fast. And yeah, by the time you're taking deaths like that, you're like, oh great, it's over. Mustard's beat me, because he's usually like that in weeklies. He always finds a way to catch up to you, and it's like how, but yeah.
Mustard officially finished with an official race time of 44:08. This seed certainly, it was the third game was long, but as you say, not especially difficult. But it was what I like to call a grinder seed, where you really had to play a lot of levels to get to the end point.
Oh yeah, in a game 3, I was double hammer play. Was a clear winner there, and I was like, crap, Mustard has double hammer, it's over. So yeah, there's a lot of emotions in there all around. It's like a lot of psychology going on, I guess.
Yeah, you're the only yours was the only hammer we saw throughout. Mustard went out of his way to avoid hammers throughout the match, actually.
Oh yeah, avoiding all those hammer brothers.
Yeah, he was really trying to press the advantage that way, and for the first half of the race, it actually worked because he had some trouble early, and he was down a minute. But some of the forced hammer bros you had to do, he didn't, and he was able to knock the deficit down to about 15 seconds.
Wow.
So, but yeah, so you're back in the finals for SG Live for the second year in a row, and I think this is like your 5th final overall. If you combine, actually 6th, your 6th final.
Hard to believe. Wow.
Well,
that must be pretty good randomizer, huh?
I guess, yeah. They actually got to count. It's either 5 or 6, but nonetheless. You're back at it, and you're no stranger to your 2 potential competitors, Teeks and Mitch Flower Power.
Yeah, for sure. But both very solid runners, and of course, the Mitch advances. We are our 3rd encounter in like tournament play, so it should be interesting in that scenario.
Yeah, you and me keep running into them. Answer a question in chat. The next SMB3R match, that is TBD at this time. We're hoping tomorrow, well actually today, at least for some of us, Saturday, we're hoping we can get Teeks and Mitch in, and then set the table for the bronze and final matches. So, anything else to add, Growlwolf?
No, it was an outstanding race for both of you involved. It was absolutely exciting to watch on our part. Really appreciate everybody being here tonight. You guys were all outstanding, both in chat, runners, Pro A. It was a huge honor as always to be on the comments with you. And until next time.
Yeah, absolutely. GG's.
Yeah, as always, thank you to SpeedGaming for hosting this SpeedGaming Live tournament here. Thank you to you and Growlwolf for commentary.
Mm-hmm.
All the other restreamers and people who make this thing happen, just appreciate it.
All right. See you all hopefully very soon for the rest of this tournament.